don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Les Cloud is in the house. We've got Paula Lyons, Chris Bunner, Stephanie Mason, and those of you that are here in secret. Of course, the rest of you that'll be jumping on as we go along. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to this 450th. Wow, 450 episodes of the Political Spotlight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. We understand that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you sharing some of your time with us tonight. If you're watching this live, we are coming to you live from Lighthouse Studios, the only upstairs basement in the world. It is 9:06 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. If you're here live with us, we thank you. If you want to communicate with us, you're going to have to communicate over here on the right-hand side. We love it when you do. If you're here via replay in the future, in some morning, some afternoon, some weekday, weekend, wherever you are watching from, we thank you as well. You'll have to communicate down in the comment section. We love what you have to say as well. Wherever you're watching from, the present or the future or the past, thank you for being here. And we ask all of you to please smash that like button. Hit that like button. Smash it hard. Specifically if you're here from the past. But the future or the present, we want your likes as well. Subscribe if you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything. Click the bell so you're notified when we go live. If we go live outside of our regular 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m., or when we drop shorts or other content, we're not putting any shorts out in a while. I'm going to have to go through and start making some shorts. We'll do that here in a bit. But share the show with everyone you know. That's the main thing. If you want to communicate with us, and a lot of you often does, I communicated with more people today. Let me tell you, I got rested today. I felt rested. I was able to rest. I got called to a water softener emergency last night right before we went live. I'm not a plumber, but I am a grandson. And I got called to a water softener emergency like literally moments before going live last night. And I just barely woke up. I think I woke up to get up and use the restroom, to get up and pee this morning. And right when I checked to see what time it was, I looked at like the ass crack of dawn. And I got a water softener emergency first thing this morning too. So I went up and peed, and I didn't even pass go. I just threw my shoes on and out the door I went. So hung out with the grandparents all the day, but I did rest there today, so I was able to rest. But I had a lot of people contact me. You can contact me on the studio line, text or call. Let me know who you are if we don't regularly talk. But you can also get the emails there. My personal email, khbilbrey@gmail.com. Also get the show email, which is tpsprogram@gmail.com. And all of our social media accounts, our X account, Facebook accounts, Rumble, YouTube. There it all is. We love talking to you, and we love if you follow our social media. So, all right. Before we get started, see, all right. Les is here with a big question. Still got the birds. And of course, for those of you that might not have tuned in last night, a trigger warning. The birds didn't make it. They got all munched up by a cat. And it was an awful sight. But in answer to Les's question, yes, we still have the birds. They're not alive anymore, but we still have them in the same little get. There were 5 of them originally. The cat, I think, completely ate one of them and took the parts off elsewhere. But the other 4 were kind of spread around in about a pretty good little size area. I got them all back, as many as I could, and we pieced them back together. I only have 2 birds whole now from what we were able to piece together. So there's only 2 of the 5, but we do have 2. And I just sat in the corner and talked to them. They were really cool. I took them over to my grandma's house today, 2 of them, put 1 in each pocket. And man, I tell you what, we're not sponsored by this, but it is it's the monkey glue, but I really think they need to call it the bird glue, because it really put those suckers back together. So the political spotlight sponsored by bird glue. A little dabble do. We bury those little suckers. So yeah, I guess I still have them in the yard. We buried them. I'm in the process of putting together little crosses for them. 5 little crosses. It's a mass grave. It does sound like a crime scene. Oh yeah. I have the pictures. I better stop talking about this. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we had a really good show last night. I love when Brandon comes on. We love when Brandon's here. Jokes. Oh, yeah. Those were all jokes. Everything I was just talking about was jokes. Yeah, you're right, Alva. Yeah, I don't even know what you're saying, but yeah, that was all jokes I was just telling you. See, yes, Tweety Bird. That's a good thing. So, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I will dig them up. Good thought. I will dig them up and go put their little parts out there and let them be for the other. It's the circle of life. That's the reason I don't sing. But, yeah. So, Lion King. Yeah, right. Ethics. Oh, yeah, I get it. Ethics and Board of Works in the same sentence. Yeah, so Brandon was on last night. We enjoyed Brandon being on with us. And probably even more than having Brandon on, I really just enjoyed talking about Prescott. I can't tell you who, but I can tell this story. I was talking to an individual today that told me, I was just talking to Kate and Brandon about this before the show started. I was talking to an individual, a professional individual today, like a professional. You people would be shocked. A professional. Did it just get loud there? Pop, pop, pop. That was weird. What's going on there? Check. My meters were jumping through the roof there. Sorry about that. But there was a professional that I was talking to today, and you would really be shocked that like this person is a man among men out in the world making his way. Through the world today. Takes everything you've got. Yeah, right. Well, Don, if you're going to be here for just a minute, wait until you actually, it's an ethics commission. It's an ethics commission. Wait until you see the ethics commission. It's comical. I'm a professional, but this person was even more a professional than I. Like, this is like a legitimate, like, listen, I went through a period in life where I got up and put on a uniform every day with a badge and a gun. And then after that, I transitioned to slacks and a polo or a button-up shirt and an outside the waist gun and a badge and or suit attire. And then in narcotics, I would wear jeans and shorts and gun tucked in. Man, I cannot even tell you how many times I carried like a thug, where I literally just put that gun in my pants. I cannot believe how many times I did that. I'll tell you, one time, I have so many stories where I have fallen down. Like, we could literally make 2 or 3 coffee table books of just stories where the story includes me falling down at the end. We were at a car that we were getting ready to get everybody out search, and these guys were scary dudes. They like had guns in the car. They ended up having some drugs. And it was like early in the morning, and the grass was real dewy, and I had on these shoes that were very slick, just horrible shoes. And I was on the shoulder of the road. I was in plain clothes, and there was this steep embankment, and I started to step backwards a little bit and slipped and fell straight down the embankment. My gun goes flying out one way. I go out the other way, and all the guys in the car, like, they laughed at me. The cops that were with me, they laughed at me. So it made a very tense situation not so tense for a moment. And then I got up, I growled at everybody, got my gun, we got everybody out, found the guns, arrested all the people in the car, and took them to jail. So that was the end of the story. But anyways, yes, I do not recommend carrying without a holster. Never. Anyways, okay. Do as I say, not as I do. So there were a couple. Before I get here, yes, I was talking to a professional today, a suit, and this gentleman said that he had never known JD Prescott. He had never met JD Prescott before this incident in this story. That he had never met this person, never before. And this JD Prescott's not his representative. This person's from Muncie. So JD Prescott is the representative for some of Delaware County, but not all of Delaware County. So this guy was at a situation where he was around a lot of people that were like-minded to JD Prescott. And they liked JD Prescott. And Prescott was there. And it got up to this point where this man was going to be introduced to Prescott. And he said the moment that he realized that the people he was with was going to introduce him to Prescott, he got this really hateful feeling that came over him. Like, he's like, I don't want to meet him. And he was like, I don't understand why. Like, I don't know this guy. I've never met this guy. I don't have anything to do with this guy. Like, I don't care what he does. You know, I have no reason to dislike this person. But as soon as he found out that they were like headed in the direction of meeting him, that he got this hateful feeling came over him. And that when he was actually physically introduced to JD, he said JD was perfectly pleasant, was nice, smiled. All the people were having a good time. And he said, I just stood there with like such utter disdain, just shocked. Just, I couldn't believe how dare this man be standing in front of me. And this guy was just like running JD down. And he was like literally going through this like inner dialogue. He was like, what is wrong with me? Like, I don't treat people like this. Why do I not like, what's wrong? What is happening? He was like, it was a very visceral feeling. And then he said, it dawned on him all of a sudden that the reason he did not like JD is because all of the things he has ever heard us say about him on this program. That literally we had, I almost like subliminally, it's not even subliminal. It's like out there, put it into him, and that he had like soaked that in. And he's like, man, that is really scary power. He's like, I was like, yeah, now you tell me about that. That's some power, man. So that's why sometimes I have to just be careful, because we have the power here. But JD's also a turd, so I'm fine with it. It makes sense, but it's not like we turned somebody against someone that was like Mother Teresa or something like that. You know, it was it's okay. So I don't think this guy's missing out on anything. Anyway. Enjoyed last night's show. If you did not listen to last night's show, you need to go back and listen to it. It was a great show, but yeah, right? The power of positive thinking. Yes. That's right, Stumblefoot. I thought very seriously about taking this as my own, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give credit to Brandon. I will give credit to Brandon. I don't know that he's here. I don't think he's here, but if he's not here now, he'll be listening in the morning. He might be here and he's just not commenting because he's doing other stuff, which is fine. If you're out there, Brandon, you don't have to comment. I understand sometimes you have us on in the background, or you'll be here in the morning, so it doesn't matter. But after we talked about the Prescott last night, I was talking to Brandon earlier. Oh, he's always here. Look at him. I knew it. I knew he'd comment. He's like, damn it, he mentioned me. Now I got to put down what I'm doing and comment. So Brandon came up with two interesting thoughts last night before we get on to the other stuff. And it kind of ties into one of the points. So this is germane to what we're going to be talking about in this episode. It's interesting to hear Prescott say to the parents, to the constituents, at the town hall that we had back a couple weeks ago, that he can't talk about the Union School Corporation bit, that amendment in Senate Bill 1. Okay. Because there's a lawsuit and I can't talk about it. Well, listen, man. That's ludicrous. I don't care. That's nonsensical. He could talk about it. He's not being sued personally. Yeah. Get this pulled up. Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, right here. It's Union School Corporation, Board of Trustees of Union School Corporation, Jeff Burke, Krista Ellis, Chad Ogden, Christina Ogden, and David Schmucker, kind of an unfortunate last name, are the plaintiffs. And they are they are suing the state of Indiana, Mike Braun in his official capacity as governor of the state of Indiana, and Dr. Katie Jenner as Secretary of Education of the state of Indiana. JD Prescott, while he is mentioned at various points in this, and they're interested in what he has to say, he is not a named defendant. Okay? So JD Prescott going on Rob Kendall's show yesterday and saying, I'm being sued, I can't talk about it, is a load of shit. He's lying. That's a lie. That is a lie. And it frustrates me because Rob knows better. Listen, there's not a lot of... Listen to me. Listen. A lot of radio guys and people aren't the smartest, but Rob's one of the smarter ones. I know that Rob knows that. I know that Rob knows that JD is not being sued, and therefore him saying, oh, I can't talk about the lawsuit, that's a bunch of crap, okay? But the craziest thing about this is the fact that he says that right after he spends about 2 minutes knocking the school, talking badly about the school, talking badly about the kids and the test scores. So it's like, which is it, JD? Can you talk about it, or can you not talk about it? Because you just spent 3 minutes talking about it. And then you've got Kendall saying, well, you're one of the smarter ones. Dude, Rob knows that JD's not smart. It's disingenuous for Rob to do that. Now, today, I'm more like yesterday. I was like okay with how Rob handled the interview. Today, I'm a little bit on the backside of it. Like, I'm like, no, he should have pushed back more. I'm a little pissed off. Now, I'll be honest. I didn't listen to the show today. I don't know if they talked about it or anything. I don't know anything about that. I just know that JD should have been pushed back on yesterday harder than he was. Period. Now, that's the first thing that Brandon brought up, was the fact that, yeah, he can state his case about why the school should be shut down the wrong way and why, this is a good thing and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as Rob or anyone else asks him a question, as soon as the constituents, as soon as the people from the school, as soon as the students from the school get up and ask Rob or JD a question, JD shuts down and says, under the advice of legal counsel, I cannot speak, So it's just funny that JD does that. And I think we're going to start a new segment on the show. I think probably twice a week, I'm going to start trying to contact JD. I think I'm going to try to contact him once by email. And I think I'm going to try to call him on the phone once. And what I'm going to do, because I always tell people, yeah, do what you want to do. They're public servants. I won't call someone even as annoying as JD at 9:30 at night. So probably what I'm going to start doing is it'll be a segment that I'll tape. Like I will tape myself in the middle of the day trying to call JD and ask him some of these questions, because you heard him say it, that he's willing to answer for his votes, that he's willing, he will come clean. He'll talk about why he did it. So if he's willing to do that, he should do that for me. So we'll try to do that, and I will email him. Maybe we'll even start a ticker like we did for Dale Basham. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But so that was the first thing that Brandon brought up. It was just kind of another disingenuous pile of crap from JD Prescott talking about his case on the school. But then as soon as it's time to answer any questions, he's like, oh, no. And then the other thing that Brandon brought up, which I thought is absolutely genius. Yeah, that's good. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'll put something together here coming up soon. We might start that next week, since we're at the end of the week here. But then the other thing that Brandon said, which I just loved, is JD's like, well, I don't want property taxes. I think we should be completely done with property taxes. But I just didn't want to push it this time. We're going to do it next year. We're going to do it. Like, I can do it in 7 years is very similar to me. You all know that I'm going out and I'm walking 2 miles a day. I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks. It would be like me getting up tomorrow and being like, man, I think I might go take a walk. And then just say, nah, I won't take a walk. I'll just sign up for a marathon in 7 years. Like, if you're not willing to put in the work now, don't talk to me about what you're going to do in 7 years. Like, how pretentious of JD to feel like he's going to be here in 7 years. Like, to feel like we want him here in 7 years. Like, this is something that he's just going to whip up over the next 7 years. Well, why don't you whip it up now? Why didn't you whip it up 4 months ago, 3 months ago? That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. That was Brandon's as well. So I can't take credit for that. Okay, before we get into the Muncie stuff, we're gonna do a couple things in Muncie. It's gonna be pretty quick. The ethics thing's quick, and then the Board of Works obviously is quick, and then we're gonna get back and we're gonna look at the lawsuit on the Union School Corp. But before we do that, because it's not fair to just completely beat up on JD Prescott. Because, listen, there are 100 of these assholes, and like 2 of them are worth anything, and the other 98 suck. And then there are 50 state senators, and there are like 1 of those that might be good, maybe 2, and the other 48 or 49 are terrible. It's not just Prescott. He's just one of them. So in oops. Okay. In a segment that I would like to call other public servants behaving badly. I want to read something to you. And again, I'm not taking credit for this. I cannot take credit for this. But we need to get this out to the masses. This came to me from Stephen Whitmer, who is one of the people that make up. Yeah, I knew I was going to lose it right as I started to say it. The indie reporter. Stephen Whitmer makes up the indie reporter with a couple of other people, I think. He posted this, and this came to me. This is an anonymous source confirms. This was posted on January 28th of this year. An anonymous source confirms that Indiana State Representative Mike Bohacek. I don't know this gentleman. Mike, for all you people out there, Kate, how would we pronounce this? Bohacek. Bohacek. How would you pronounce that last name? Anybody? Bohacek? Bohacek? Okay, might be a state senator. The Post says representative. I don't know this guy. I do not know this guy. I guess he's from up north. I don't know. I don't know this person. We'll just call him State Senator Mike. The Post calls him State Representative. We'll call him Mike. Mike B. Mike B, State Senator. In the Post, he's titled as a State Representative. People oftentimes get those confused. Mike B was stopped for suspected drunk driving after a citizen reported him highly intoxicated at a Panda Express. I normally hang out at Panda Expresses under different levels of intoxication too. Like, I just don't understand the concept of the Panda Express. Sorry, I love Chinese food, but like, you want to talk like so when I went to London, when I lived in London, and I actually ate at a real Chinese restaurant and found out like how screwed up I'd been going to all of the Americanized Chinese all my life. I never wanted anything different than the real Chinese food. But then coming back to America, it's like, God, there are in big cities, there are real Chinese restaurants, but not in Muncie. You know what I mean? It's all that. But Panda Express is like the worst of the worst. Anyways, so I understand him needing to be intoxicated while being there. What I don't understand is driving, though, afterwards. He should have had a designated driver. Anyways, State Senator Mike B was stopped for suspected drunk driving after a citizen reported him as being highly intoxicated at a Panda Express in Michigan City, Indiana, all the way up in the region. Okay. And this happened on January 24th, 2025 at about 5 p.m. Further investigation revealed that he stopped near Swan Lake Cemetery on US 20, where he refused to take the PBT, which is his right to do. But it doesn't say anything. Did he take the stupid human tricks? Did he do the horizontal gaze nystagmus? Did he do the one-leg stand? Did he do the 9-step walk and turn? Did he do any of that stuff? It doesn't say. When they read him implied consent, which is, I have implied consent. I have probable cause, or implied consent is, I have probable cause to believe that you've operated a vehicle while intoxicated, and I must now offer you the opportunity to submit to a chemical test and inform you that the refusal to submit to a chemical test will result in the suspension of your license for 1 year. If you have refused implied consent in the past A refusal at this point will result in the suspension of your license for 2 years. Will you now take the chemical test? And the chemical test is one of three things. It would be a breath, blood, or urine sample. And it's not something that you get to say no on if you have an Indiana driver's license, because when you pick up your driver's license, you sign implied consent. So if you say no, I just go get a warrant for your blood or breath or urine, and then we suspend your license for a year. That's what would happen. So I don't know if any of that. I'm just reading you what's here, okay? He refused it says breathalyzer, so I don't know if that's he actually refused the PBT or if he refused the breathalyzer. We don't know. He was taken to a local hospital where a blood test showed that he had a BAC, a blood alcohol content of 0.28, which is very high in the state of Indiana. The legal limit in the state of Indiana is 0.08. Okay. Charges, however, have not been filed. They're still pending on this turd. Why? Bohacek wasn't even arrested. Why? Because of something called legislative immunity. That's right. Indiana law provides legislators with certain immunities from civil arrest during specific periods related to legislative sessions. According to the Indiana Code, Title 34, Article 29, Chapter 2, Section 1, members of the General Assembly are immune from arrest in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace during the session of the General Assembly, as well as a period of 15 days both before the commencement and after termination of each session. This means state legislators cannot be arrested for civil matters, or I guess criminal matters, because civil matters you're not arrested for, but I get where they're going. Okay, for civil arrest by local police, by police in the state of Indiana, meaning local, county, state, yada, 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 during specified times. Article 4, Section 8 of the Indiana Constitution provides specific privileges to state legislators to ensure the independence and effective functioning of the legislative branch. The section grants legislators immunity from arrest in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace during the session of the General Assembly, as well as while traveling to and from session. Additionally, it protects members from being questioned elsewhere for any speech or debate conducted within either house. This provision is commonly called the Speech or Debate Clause. It is designed to allow legislators to perform their duties without external inference of fear or of legal repercussions for their legislative activities. Drinking and driving? Drinking and driving? Not even if allegedly drunk driving and endangering the public. Reportedly called in by a citizen for being intoxicated at a Panda Express and later stopped in front of Swan Lake Cemetery. I guess he was headed in the right direction. Refused a breathalyzer and got hauled in for blood draw. All cleaned up now. Nothing to see here, like it never happened, because state law protects him while in legislative session. Unbelievable. All right. So that's how that was written out. Now, as soon as I heard this, I got in the political spotlight mode, and I contacted the law enforcement authorities in the area and started issuing record requests, because while there are definitely these statutes, I guess, in place to protect this turd, okay? that does not mean that he's protected from that paperwork's protected from record requests. It should be public record, and I'm going to do what I can do to get it. We'll see what's going on here. This was in January, the end of January 24th. So they were in session, but drinking and driving, to me, it has nothing to do with speaking in the House or speaking in Senate. It has nothing to do with his activities as a state senator, and I think that this is one of those things which is quite wild. They could charge him after the 15 days after the session are up, right? Well, it's a misdemeanor, so technically they have 2 years to charge him. They could charge him. They should charge him right now. So, okay, listen, Stumblefoot, if you go out and you get smashed tonight and you're driving out by Elm Ridge and you get pulled over by Yorktown, they're not going to be like, well, sir, Stumblefoot, let's take you home and we'll charge you up in 15 days or in 4 months or 2 years. Your ass is going to jail tonight and you're going to be charged by Tuesday. It's Thursday. Yeah, you'd be charged by Tuesday. So that's that. So, I don't like that. But yeah, okay, cool. We gave him a break. Maybe he was working on some very important legislative matters. So now that's over. Let's go arrest him. Make him sit in there, make him sober up, because I'm sure he's drunk now wherever he's at, right? Seems like there's a problem there or something. And then let's charge him and have this done. Here he is. This is Mike Bohacek. He is of course a Republican. And he is where are you from? I mean, obviously he's from up in that area. Okay. He's District 8. So this is his area. So I'm going to learn more about this guy. We're going to get his paperwork. We're going to find out. Let's see. I bet he's an attorney. Let's see what his biography says. Elected Indiana Senate 2016 to present. Standing committees, corrections and criminal law, health and provider services, local government, education. Oh, okay. So he's not an attorney. 2-term LaPorte County Commissioner. Why couldn't Melissa have picked him up? Stark County and portions of LaPorte, Marshall, and St. Joseph counties. So let's see what we've got going on here. Okay, I'll reach out to his communications director and see if we can't get a correspondence on this. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's other public servants behaving badly, and I didn't even know that I was going to go on that tonight, but I wanted to just make sure it's not just JD Prescott. They all suck. They're all rather large. What was that? Did you not hear me? Or are you talking to someone else? Hello.
Okay, so listen.
It's pronounced Bohacek per interview I just watched.
Okay, Bohacek.
Bohacek. That's the reason why you pay Brando the big bucks too.
Yeah, right. Brando's there. I saw Brando send that. Bohacek. Mike Bohacek. Well, we'll be Bohacekking this out. And he needs to Bohacek himself into rehab and Bohacek himself out of the Senate, maybe. So we'll have to figure out what goes on here, but I'll keep you guys posted. So that's just a quick little segment there. We like to call other public servants behaving badly. All right, on to the City of Muncie Ethics Commission. This is pretty wild now. So for those of you that do not know, it sounded like a good idea at first. It then quickly derailed into what I think absolutely has become a massively Mike Baja Blast. I think he was Baja Blasted that night. Yeah, we could have fun with that all night. So this Muncie Ethics Commission thing quickly turned into an absolute disaster, an absolute joke. I don't know. Oh man, I just don't have much hope for this. Any of the Muncie people, I've not had comments on. There we go. There's comments. Are any of the Muncie people here? Do you did you guys follow this Muncie Ethics Commission meeting? I noticed when I was watching that nobody else was watching. I've been the only person to comment. And as of right now, there have only been 18 views. So I would say that nobody else has watched this either. I honestly forgot about it. Ha! Oh, that would be a wild. That would be wild. Definitely interested in what happens if that happens. That's wild. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is the Ethics Commission. The Ethics Commission.
Roll call, please.
Chip Taylor.
Here.
Susan Dillon.
Here.
Listen to this.
W.C. Edwards.
So, all right. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 people here. This is supposed to be a 5-person board. For all of those of you that watched the Muncie City Council meeting last time, we all know that W.C. Edwards needs to step down because of an illness or something. That's what they told us. And in June, we're going to apparently replace him on the council or on the commission. The council's going to replace him. And so I looked at this and I was like, well, obviously W.C. Edwards isn't here because he quit. And so they're going for a role, and I want you to listen to this. This is so wild.
The order. Roll call, please.
Chip Taylor.
Here.
Susan Dillon.
Here.
W.C. Edwards is absent. Here. Oh, he's here.
Oh,
They're like, W.C. Edwards is absent, and then a disembodied voice from behind yells, here. He's there anyways. Wild. I thought they said he quit. So we get W.C. Edwards from beyond the dais telling us his thoughts and what's going on.
well, there he is.
Oh, you made it. That's what
You made it.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Pause.
So then they paused for a while so they could figure out if he was going to join them or not.
Good to see you.
Yes.
Good to see you. We thought you quit. What are you doing here?
Good, WC?
Yeah.
Good. Sandra Whitaker?
Here.
And Jim Lowe, I'm here.
Okay. Everybody got a copy of the minutes ahead of the meeting, the minutes of the previous meeting.
All right. For those of you that have your alcoholic beverage, or maybe you've got a little something ready to toke on, you can take a hit, take a drink. Every time this man says, every time this man says, or do it up. And don't blame us if you have alcohol poisoning or time starts going really, really slowly.
Meeting, we have a motion to approve those.
I would like to motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
Second now.
Okay.
Sandra seconds.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You don't have to watch later, Jackie. We're watching right now.
Okay.
I will.
All right, so main order of business tonight is initial action on a set of ethics complaints.
Wait. I'm going to try to keep, I don't even know that I'll be able to actually keep tally, but all right, we got it once.
This is the first time we've done this, so I thought I might explain a little bit about for how we do this, what's going to happen. So when the commission receives a complaint, at this point, there are a number of different actions that can be taken. There are different conditions under which they might be dismissed. They might be forwarded to somebody else to see the appropriate person, see if they want to handle them. They could, we could elect to do further investigation. A number of different things. So tonight is the first time that we're acting on these complaints. According to our rules, we don't take any public input at this stage when we're acting on these complaints. If a complaint ever got to a point to where there was a hearing, of course, the parties that were involved would have chances to testify and call witnesses and that sort of thing. All we're doing tonight is taking this initial action. The other thing, so that's according to our rules, we don't receive public input at this time. I guess the other thing, according to the ordinance, until such a time as we would ever schedule, decide to conduct an investigation on a complaint, according to the ordinance, we only refer to them by complaint number. So you won't hear a lot of detail in whatever discussion we have as we handle these tonight.
And pause for just 1 second. 1 second. Those of you out there, keep track, put it in the comments. I love it. That's great. The more comments that we have, it just makes us better. So comment away. That's not a problem. I love it. Don't feel like you have to stop. I want to say this though, really quickly. Really quickly. 5, 10, 15. I'm at 20. So quick count. I'm at 20. Public speaking is not easy always. I get that. I understand that. I'm not making fun of him or anyone else, but this gentleman is not somebody that's like not used to public speaking. He's a professor. He's a college professor. So I'm not making fun as much as I'm just having fun. And not at his expense. We're laughing along with him. I'm not making fun. I just don't get it because he speaks for a living, and I've listened to him speak, and he doesn't do this. He doesn't do this when he speaks outside of this. But I noticed this when I went to one of these meetings. I was like, whoa, what is happening? So I'm just kind of curious as to why it's happening in this setting. Maybe he's not comfortable or whatever. I don't think that he is comfortable in this setting. And I'll tell you why. Yeah, he's not dumb. He is a smart man. You know what I mean? Yeah, right, Tweety Bird, absolutely. All right, here we go.
So anyway, with that in mind, we'll take up ethics complaint EC 25-1. This complaint was filed in the city clerk's office on April 15th and forwarded to the chair of the Ethics Commission for initial review. On April 23rd, the Ethics Commission met in executive session as allowed by the ordinance to receive information regarding the complaint, discuss whether the complaint warrants further investigation. And so tonight, we're taking the first action on this. Anybody care to make a motion on the disposition of complaint 25-1?
I make the motion on complaint EC 25-1.
And I got to pause this really quick. So this is the first complaint. All right. They just started taking complaints like the second week of April or something like that. So this is EC 25-1. This is the first complaint
That we dismiss because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether.
And he's making a motion to dismiss it because it does not contain sufficient facts.
There is a violation of the Code of Ethics, 42.0 D4.
Hey, do we have a second?
I will second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the commission?
Are you ready for the call? Okay.
Chip
Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's over. They just dismissed complaint 1. I'm sure that we're ready for some kind of other business before the board, and we'll hear what's going to happen.
Okay.
Keep in mind, when they read that complaint, you'll hear here in a minute. They read a number, EC 25-1, no other identifying information, no complainant, no who the complaint is about, no what the complaint is about. That's what we heard. Now let's see where we go from here.
Complaint number EC 25-2. This complaint was filed on April 5th.
Okay, so this is EC 25-2. Let's hear what we hear.
15th, forwarded to the chair of the Ethics Commission for initial review. On the 23rd, the Ethics Commission met in executive session to receive information about the complaint, discuss whether it warrants further investigation. Anybody wish to make a motion on the disposition of complaint EC 25-2?
I make the motion that on EC 25-2 that we dismiss because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether there is a violation of the Code of Ethics or 42.0.
Okay, so a motion has been made to dismiss this complaint number 2 because the complainant did not allege facts that would allow them to determine if a violation of ethics had been committed.
D4.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Okay, Whitaker, second. Any discussion?
Okay.
Ready for the call?
Roll call. Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
and Jim Lowe, yay. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, complaint EC 25-3. It was filed with the city clerk on April 15th. Commission met in executive session on April 23rd. And now we're taking initial action. Does anybody wish to make a motion?
I make the motion that on EC 25-3, dismissed because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether it is a violation of the Code of Ethics per 42.01D4.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, we're ready for the roll call.
Roll call. Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
and Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, complaint EC 25-4. 25-4 was filed on April 15th, discussed in executive session on April 23rd. So we're ready for motion on initial action.
I make the motion that on EC 25-4, dismissed because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether it is a violation of Code of Ethics per 42.01D4.
Second?
Second.
Okay, second from Whitaker. Any discussion?
Roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Chip
I
Taylor,
watched it.
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Okay, so since they've done 1, 2, 3, 4, when he's talking, he does ums through the roof. When he's reading, so far I've noticed he does 2 ums per reading. So instead of needing to watch this, I would like to make a motion here. Let's see. Can we just go ahead and assume that he's going to make 2 ums for every complaint that he reads? Is that something? Could I? Okay, Kate's got a second. All in favor of just assuming that for every complaint, he's going to say 2 ums per reading? Because so far he's done that for EC 25-1, EC 25-2, EC 25-3, EC 25-4. So does anybody know how many complaints they hear tonight? Does anybody want to take a guess on how many? Don't answer if you read my post. I'll know if you read it. Don't answer if you read my post. Kate, don't go look. Does anybody know how many complaints do we hear tonight? Tell me in the chat.
What do you mean by here? Do you mean
Like we've heard.
The number of them that they talk
The
about?
number of them that they've done, what they've done. Right now, we've done 4.
Actually do anything with?
No.
Just how many there is?
I'm just saying. Right now, I'm saying that doing what we've done. They've done 4 of them. How many of because each one of these is a complaint. So EC 25-1. Okay. 12. We got 9. We've got 8. We've got 10. Okay. So really quickly, we've got 4, and we're up to 5, 10, so we're 33 ums. So let me do this real quick. All right. So I'm going to scoop. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there, Tweety Bird. I'll jump ahead, and we'll see where we are in the count.
Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay, we'll take up complaint EC 25-7.
Oh my God.
EC 25-7, receive information about it and discuss it. And it's up for initial action. Here to make a motion.
Jack.
I make the motion that on EC 25-11, dismissed because the complaint does not allege sufficient. 25-12, dismissed because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine. Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
Okay. Complaint number EC 25-13. It was filed in the office of the Muncie City Clerk.
So that's it. 13 complaints. They heard 13 complaints. And the way that you heard them handle the first 4 and the 7th and the 10th and the 11th is how they handled all 13. Well, I didn't count. The first 4 we counted. So from 5 to 13 is 9. So there were 9. So that's 18. So I added 18 onto our number already. So that's just being stupid. Let me tell you how out of control I was when I heard this nonsense. No, Tweety Bird, it is not. So what they are saying here. So let me tell you what this is. I'm still willing to give them a little bit of chance because I'm going to tell you. So these 13 complaints, from what my sources are saying, are 13 complaints that embattled Muncie firefighter Troy Delaney has filed against, I guess, 13 fire personnel. So, look, I'm not a fan of Troy. They just need to get rid of him. But Kate's also right. Just because he's been done what he's done doesn't mean that these complaints aren't wrong, because I do know, and I'm going to tell you, there are some political things behind what all went down there. So this meeting was nonsensical. They literally could have said, we have 13 complaints. EC 25, 1 through 13. Or maybe let's say EC 25, 1 was a different complaint. And EC 25, 2 through 13 were all Delaney. I don't know. Do whatever you do there. Lump Delaney's together and say, they're all unfounded. We're not doing anything with them. And let's move on. I don't know, Alva. And here's the thing. We won't know. We don't know. Not unless the people who file the complaints want to come forward and want to contact me and tell me, or want to contact anyone else and tell anyone. But as far as the city of Muncie goes, nothing. This is how it is. Nothing else happens.
On April 22nd, discussed by the Ethics Commission in executive session on April 30th, and is up for initial action. I have a motion.
I make the motion that on an EC 25-13, dismissed because the complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether there is a violation of Code of Ethics per section 42.01 D4.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
Jim Lowe, yes. W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker.
Yes.
All right. That ends that portion of the meeting. It's all the complaints we had to act on tonight. Move on to the old business. The only item of old business we have is adoption of a form for submitting disclosures under section 40.07 We didn't make any changes to the form on the basis of the discussion last month. This has to do with disclosing contracts with between the city and relatives of employees, elected officials, and that sort of thing. This is a part where we do allow public input. I don't have the sense that anybody was here particularly for this part of the meeting, but have any discussion from my fellow commissioners? Okay. So we've got a rule for adopting the forms. Anybody care to make a motion on that? We adopt. WC moves. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Susan Dillon, second. Okay.
So, Tweety Bird and everybody else and anybody else that cares, I guess what we're hearing is what would have happened is, let's say Tweety Bird goes and files a complaint against the Green Goblin, Dustin Clark. And the complaint is, they think it's not, she goes and files a complaint. They're made aware of the complaint. They then have an executive meeting where they hear all about the complaint. They then have their next meeting where they will read this. So they basically, in that meeting, I guess, decide by themselves in their own minds if they think it's valid or not. I don't know where. I guess I don't know where that's done, because they can't make decisions in an executive meeting. But they didn't say anything that was arguing for or against anything in this meeting. So I don't know where the decision making occurred. But if they decide that Tweety Bird's complaint against Dustin is not valid, or whatever they said here, that she, let's see what the correct wording that they used here was. If they make the motion to dismiss the complaint because Tweety Bird's complaint does not allege sufficient facts to determine whether a violation of the Code of Ethics was made by the Green Goblin, then they would vote in this manner, and no one would hear the name Tweety Bird, and no one would hear the name the Green Goblin. That would go off into the sunset forever. No matter how passionate Tweety Bird was about it, they've made the decision somewhere. Now, if at that executive session or wherever they make the determination that there is something, they pick it up. But if they would have voted that it was there, I don't know what happens here. I don't know what happens at that point. I don't know that they are going to read a name or whatever. I thought they were supposed to. I thought it was supposed to come forward at some point. They talk in here at some point about, having a hearing, if there was something where they were going to have a hearing. So the names would come out at some point, or maybe we'd have to file a record request. All I know is watching this did not make me too happy. But then knowing that it was complaints that Troy filed against the fire department, I feel like we're going to need another complaint. We're going to need one more complaint from someone else against someone else to see how it's handled, before I decide if this is going to be something that just votes everything down always. You know what I mean? If this is just a hand of the administration, because let's face it, the administration does not like this. People in the administration, Dan does not like this board. The department heads does not like this board. Yeah, Kate, absolutely. So it's going to take another complaint or two, but we'll see.
Now I should ask if there's any discussion.
Yeah,
Sorry
there
about
you go.
that. Okay, there's none. Looks like there's none. Roll call.
Roll call. Chip Taylor,
Yes.
Susan Dillon,
Yes.
W.C. Edwards,
Yes.
Sandra Whitaker,
Yes.
and Jim Lowe, yes.
Okay. We don't have any new business. Just a couple things under other business. WC, I was sorry to hear Mr. Mason's announcement the other night, but I wish you the best.
Okay.
Everything's all right. Next month, don't have any action items that I know of at this point. Jim and I have been working on some information related to the purchasing and some of the documentation that will go on the transparency portal when it's up. So we'll be discussing that. I don't know that there'll necessarily be any action to take, but we'll have some information that we'll get out to the commission and up on the website ahead of the meeting. Also, just want to acknowledge HR Director, Pat, I'm forgetting what Patty's last name. Pardon me? Goddard, yes. I knew it started with a G. I was drawing a blank. Thank you, Chief. So I think, so the Commissioner saw she sent out.
So he just said, thank you, Chief. I would like to know if it's the fire chief there, because that would make sense. So I'm going to find out if the fire chief was in this audience. I believe it was.
I guess develop some online training, watch the videos, very, very concise. So there's more in here than you can cover in a short video, but I think it did a good job sort of letting people know kind of what the boundary issues are, so that, maybe employees, elected officials, appointed officials, board members and stuff, they'll have an idea of like what the issues in the ordinance are, and seek out more information in certain situations. So I want to thank her for the work she's doing. I've had a chance to talk to her 2 or 3 times about different issues, and very, very good to work with. I appreciate her efforts in helping us do the things we're trying to do. Fellow commissioners have anything to say?
I'd like to make a comment. I know that there's a lot of people here tonight because of the complaints that we reviewed, and I'm sure there's a lot of questions on the decisions that we made. But I want to make it very clear as a commissioner that we took everyone very seriously. We talked out every one of them very specifically, point by point, and every detail we reviewed very closely. And the conclusions and the decisions that we made were based on what we are supposed to do as an ethics commission as fully defined in the ordinance. And this ordinance is available for everybody to review. But it's very specific on what we're looking at, when we're looking at. And this is why we needed to make the decisions that we did on these complaints this evening. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear, that we are functioning on your behalf, and we are taking everything that is brought to us very seriously.
Thank you. Well said.
Yeah, good.
What else? Okay, our next meeting will be June 11th. I read the calendar right, so no other business.
June 11th.
Take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
I counted 88 ums. I counted 88 ums. But yeah, I don't know. Paula says 125. I guess she could be true. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. I just I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed. So that's that. Okay. Now moving on to ridiculous Muncie meetings. We will move on to the Muncie City Board of Works meetings. And we'll, last time it was 34 minutes. How long y'all think it's going to be today? We are right at 4:38. Okay. So now we are here. Did you change that thing that said Board of Works? That's brilliant. I loved it. All right, that looked good. This time it was 4 minutes. So we'll and actually it was more like, yeah, right at about 4.
I get you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May 14th meeting of the Muncie Board of Public Works and Safety. Please rise if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. If we could have roll call, please. Present.
Present. Present.
We have been given the minutes for the May 7th meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move approval of the May 7th minutes as presented.
And I second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Having none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Consideration of the Register of Claims, Mr. Craig Wright, City Controller. Good morning,
Here
sir.
we go.
Good.
Welcome back.
Okay, I'd just like to point out a few things on this week's claims. Our usual payment to Indiana, Michigan Power for traffic signals and street lights. We had a couple claims that we paid out to Southeastern Equipment from local road and street for the updates to the milling machine. And the payment of $570,141.68 to GM Development. And that's for the construction of Fire Station number 6. With that, I'll open it up.
Fire station.
And it's going up really, Fire Station 6 is going up really nice, isn't it?
Mhm.
Really cool.
Yeah, I actually drove by it the other day and it looked nice.
Yeah, yes, it's like, it stood out.
It looks so wonderful.
So, okay, do we have any comments?
I have none.
None, thank you.
I do not either. That was just kind of an extra commentary there that we had before.
Oh, yeah, great.
Do you have any other comments or questions? Well, let's make a motion first.
Okay, I move approval of the claims for $1,582,522.
Do we have a second?
Woo!
Okay, right?
Jerry Weiss, I'm questioning Craig. Those are attorney fees. Yeah. Was that, why isn't it taken out of our quarterly fees?
You better wise up,
Well, they're for-
Jerry Weiss.
You've got two places we take attorney fees out of.
This is page 9. Yeah.
Out of the departments, and then we do what we've got billing regular for their retainer, and then we go per departments on all of them.
Weird questions, man.
What it's
Weird.
So sometimes the attorney fees go beyond what the extra things that go beyond.
He
what the
asks
retainer-
questions, they just don't
Retainer
always
for.
make sense.
To hire them, and these are additional work that they do.
But I mean.
Like, I'd like to give him a list of questions to ask.
Well, it depends. I mean, they've got other things that they'll do, like they may do here stuff for the fire department or for the parks or for the city.
Am I correct, Craig, that like all the contracts and everything automatically go to them, everything
Yeah.
first before?
Yeah.
Why
anybody
don't
sees
you
it, it has to
know
go through
that,
legal first,
Ted?
and so that's kind of like the ongoing work. And then the extra are the above.
He's like,
and beyond.
am I right? I think I'm right. Am I right?
Okay, my next question is on page 12. Items for the cold patch. Oh, you already addressed that.
Oh, you already addressed that.
76,000 and the 4,000 in the
Yeah,
30.
those are for their milling machine.
Okay.
Okay,
thank you.
Thanks, Jerry. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate your help. Do we have any other comments or anything else before the board? Okay. Okay, having none, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Dude. What? What? Crazy. Absolutely nuts. The meeting could have been 2 minutes long if it weren't. Yeah. Yes. Yes, man. No, Tweety Bird. No answers that any of them ever come back with. Last time it wasn't even him. It was Fugly or whatever the guy's name is, married to the troll down by the bridge. I think his name's Fugly or whatever, Matt Fugly. Anyways, just such a disappointment, man. One of these days I'm gonna have to get in there and point some things out. I've got a running list. It's just stupid to go. Like, they've literally just about beat me down, right? It's like they're like, look, we're going to not be transparent. And there's nothing we don't care what you say. We don't care if you come up here and talk. We'll let you talk a little bit. We're not going to answer you. If you talk too much, we're going to call the police in and try to arrest you. And, like, they know that I'm not going to stand for that. So, like, I'm going to have to get loud and get stupid. And I don't like doing that. And it just does nothing. We go round and around because, look, Dan doesn't care. The mayor simply doesn't care. The dude, remind me to tell you, I had my eyes closed for a second, and I just happened to, because sometimes when I'm monologuing, I'm like thinking, and I close my eyes, and I literally opened my eyes for a second to see you drinking that coffee or whatever, that tea that you're drinking. Remind me, I'm not going to tell you now, but remind me to tell you what I thought that looked like when you lifted that up and were drinking it. It was that scared me to death. It was so weird. It's not bad. It's not what you think. It was just so, I was like, what got on the screen? I guess I can say it looked like, yeah, do what you were doing. So you're doing that. And I came down.
The last dregs out of my teacup.
Yeah. And it looked like two people kissing, like passionately, like someone was like, it was so weird. I was like, what? And it like startled me for a second. It looked like you were grabbing someone's head.
I do love my tea.
Yeah,
right.
That was so weird. For 10 seconds, I was like, what is on the screen? Like, I was looking because I thought maybe something was playing on YouTube from over here and showing. It weirded me out. Sorry, people. That was so weird. Anyways. And I made it much worse because I was like, well, remind me, I'll tell you later. I was like, oh, I guess I could say it now, but that was just so wild.
Niles isn't that bald.
I love it.
Niles is also a little far away right now.
Yeah, right. Right. That's hilarious. Okay. So yeah, but back to the Board of Works. They've about beat me down. So I like what I try to do now before I go in there for just one thing, because it's just not worth it. That's the thing. They've made it not worth it. I'm to the point, and like, that's sad. Listen, I've had some people be like, look, you're not covering a lot of stuff with the city of Muncie right now. And I'm like, want me to be honest? Listen, you want me to be honest? The state stuff has been so much more interesting, and I feel helpless there too. But I almost feel like there's things that can be done. Dan has about beat me down. I just run the city as bad as you want to run it. There's this, it's so strange, right? It's so strange because there is this like division among people. And it's what they don't know, and what I know is it's a division among all kinds of people in Muncie. There are people that are in Ball State that are the upper crust professors that love Dan and love what he's doing. There are also those in that community that absolutely hate Dan and hate what he's doing and think that he is destroying city. There are people that are among the drug addicts and the scuzzy, people that are not very good that think, oh yeah, it's not Muncie's better than it used to be. And then there are those people among there that hate Dan and say, oh, he's not doing anything for us. And then there are those people that are in Crosstown that like and hate, and Shedtown that like what he's doing and hate what he's doing. So it's everywhere. But the Dan and his people and Prescott's, all of the political people, they only look at the people that have an issue, and they have combined us into one group. We are all lesser than. They don't consider the people that are, made something of themselves. They don't think those people exist. If you're educated, if you've got money, if you think Dan's doing a good job, and that's not true. Dan has changed some stuff around, and Dan has made some changes here or there and done some good things. But for most of it, he's been unwilling to communicate. He's been unwilling to be transparent. He's still had disaster after disaster after disaster. I was just talking to Kate. It's been a minute since he's had something disastrous. I think he might be working on his next big disaster. I'm kind of looking into this right now. I don't know if I don't have enough to talk about it yet, but there's something that he might be working on that might be his next big disaster. Time will tell. But it's almost like it don't matter. It don't matter. Dan Zaster, absolutely. Yeah, I do. You see him? It's because I have my elbows on the desk. That's hilarious. Yeah, it's hilarious, Jack. You're an idiot. Good night, Paula. But it's so frustrating because, like, at some point they're going to get to the conclusion on this fire department at the corner of Broadway and Highland. They're going to get to the end of it. And I'm going to have to write a records request that I'm going to send into Amber. And I'm going to say, I want every dime that the city of Muncie has paid out on that corner. Anything that went to that fire department, I want an accounting of it. And I want it broken down, and I want an itemized listing. And they're gonna fight me on it. And then I'm gonna spend months trying to get what I want, and eventually they'll give it to me. And I will release how much money we've spent. And it is going to be astronomical. It should make people shudder. I'm telling you. I've just low-key been paying attention. Some people have said, like, how much? And I'm like, man, I can't give you a figure because it doesn't even make sense to worry about it now, because every other week they're coming back and they're doing more and they're doing this, and we're getting, so it's just might as well let them get it all done. And then at the end say, give me everything. But they're going to fight me on it. When I finally get it together and when I finally release it to you guys, they're going to say, yes, but look what we've got. They just put a park in. They're going to put a park in. What a lovely thing. They're going to put a park in. Tweety Bird, you want me to talk about that so bad. Yes, I did see it. And we are going to talk about it. And I am going to cover it. But yes, I did see it. And it's ludicrous, that story, because of just everything that happened. It's absolutely crazy, that bullshit. Yeah, I did see it. I think I'm going to try to talk about it Sunday. No, you know what, Alva? I haven't, because until we walk through it and until I know it's open, it's not done. So I'm waiting. That's what I'm waiting on. I've got it down here in my calendar. Right here. Right here in my calendar. When my ass walks through that, once I know that they are seeing patients and it's open, I'm going to send a request saying, I want every dime on how much this place. I've got a couple places around Muncie like that, but I got to wait till the very end, or it doesn't matter. It'll be short or something. And I want to know every dime, because I think that is going to be something that people's going to be crazy on. It's nuts. And it's like the park. The Dan released the information today that the city of Muncie is working with Ball State on a park, and that's beautiful. That's great. That's wonderful. And there's this thing out there where people say, great, a park, but we can't get to it because the roads suck. Fix the roads first. And the city of Muncie, the communications director, the Dan Ridenhour, the troll, Shireen, all of them are like, the road, you are always bitching about the roads, but we are fixing the roads. Look at our map. They're now putting maps everywhere. I'm not even bothering putting that out. It's still nonsensical, because it's so these weird small roads and side roads, and they are doing a couple roads that are important, but they're still not hitting the worst of the worst. And I guess the whole point is, I get it. I get that money that necessarily is going to be earmarked for the parks can't go for those, but they're to a point where people just don't care. Quit jamming shit down our mouths until you fix what we need fixed. We're not. And see, they think that's something wrong with the people, and it's not. It's like, look, we're asking you to do your jobs and to repair these things in the city. We're paying taxes. You want to increase the taxes. You're going to continue taking more from us, but you're not giving us anything to show for it. Because listen, somebody from Brotherton isn't going to go play in that park by Ball State. That's just not going to happen. They're not going to go do that. But someone on Brotherton knows the roads are shitty right around 12th Street and going in off Burlington and all that. They just want shit to be fixed. Like Kate said, when I came to Indiana in 1995, my gallery was crap. It's 2025. Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. Yeah, the Anthony School Grounds. What we're waiting on Tillotson to get that finished is AEP to complete their job. That Dan just said that today. And he acts so frustrated. And that's, I guess, what pisses me off is I wish Dan would come out and be like, you know what? I'm absolutely pissed off too. I'm bothered by the fact that AP's dragging their feet. We need to get this paved. Let's get on it. But he doesn't act like that. He acts like he's sick of hearing people say pave the roads. So it's so frustrating to deal with them, man. They just beat you down. I was walking into Subway today, and I was thinking about, I had just watched the Board of Works. And I was thinking about, like, at some point in the future, one of these days, we're going to have a new mayor. I don't know when, where, what, how, but we're going to have a new mayor one of these days. And I was just thinking about how that new mayor is going to appoint these new people to do the Board of Works. And, you know, they're going to come up with their own way. And I was just thinking about, like, the process of going through that with new people and stuff. And I almost just had been like, man, I'm just resigned to the fact that have at it right now, and hopefully the next person won't be as horrible as you are. Hey, Stumblefoot! Thank you, brother. Obviously not needed, but I appreciate it. I very much appreciate you doing that. Thank you, sir. The political spotlight, there's nowhere to shop anymore. Yeah, right. Absolutely. You would think that that would be something that they're working on, but yeah, I don't know, man. I could spend all night compared to Winchester on what? Shopping? Oh yeah. Thank you there, Stumblefoot. I will. We got some big requests coming up. I'll put that right in that. I appreciate it, as always. Okay. Before we I went a little long on a couple things. I threw in that part about the bad guy. We're not gonna go through this like bigly. I'm gonna show you the hot spots. I haven't even fully read it fully, so once I read it, we'll go through it, but I want to show you guys this. This is the Union School Corp lawsuit. Maybe we'll talk about this. Maybe I was going to say, well, I'm going to read it and figure some information out about it. And then we'll pull it back up and let you guys get more information on it. Here is the lawsuit. So you guys would see, as I was saying earlier, this is Union School Corporation, Board of Trustees of Union School Corporation, Jeff Burke, Krista Ellis, Chad Ogden, Christina Ogden, and David Schmuckner are the plaintiffs versus the state of Indiana. Governor Mike Braun in his official capacity as governor of the state of Indiana, and Dr. Katie Jenner as Secretary of Education of the state of Indiana. Verified complaint for declaratory judgment and injunctive relief. Plaintiffs, Union School Corporation, by counsel Delk McNally for their verified complaint of declaratory judgment and injunctive relief, allege as follows. Summary of the case. On August 6, 2025, the students of the Union Schools will show up to empty classrooms for their first day of school. There will be no teachers. I think that might be 2027. There will be no teachers, no textbooks, no fire or safety monitoring. Students will be forced to miss homecoming, prom, and even athletic events, just as they did in 2020. Union schools will not even be able to contract with Randolph County Sheriff for its school resource officers. Consequently, the General Assembly will be depriving these students of a free and appropriate education. The reason? Senate Enrolled Act 1, which mandates the closure of union schools on January 1st, 2027, and freezes union schools' ability to operate the entirety of the school corporation by prohibiting union schools from incurring any obligations after July 1st. I don't know why that keeps saying 2025. It's got to be 2027. I need to tell them that. Hopefully they fix that. When adopting SE1, which is Senate Bill 1, no one seemed to care that union school must incur new obligations after July 1st. I don't know why. That's nuts. Anyways, once the if the state wants the union school to continue operating up to July 1st, 2027, as provided. For example, negotiating teacher contracts for the 2025 school year cannot even begin before September 15th of that's got to be. I don't understand, Krista. What is this? What is this? No new obligations. Wait a minute. So is the first one a typo on August 6, 2025?
No, that's not a typo. School will not be able to open in August this year.
I thought it was 2027.
Correct. That's when the school is supposed to be closed. However, they included in the amendment, they cannot do any kind of obligations financially. So they can't go and do this teacher contracts. They can't do anything. So they
So
won't
it's
have
not
to staff.
2027. They're shutting it this year.
Yeah.
Well, why has no one been talking about that? Because nobody, I don't think that anybody knows that. I didn't even know that. I've been thinking that these people would be able to go through school until 2027.
They can't even take on the students they currently have because they won't have the teachers and the staff
After this school year.
after the school year.
Well, listen, folks out there.
The language is poorly written. Well, let me think, because they jammed it through.
Well, sure, absolutely. But I'm just letting you know, like, I'll be honest, I've not fully paid crazy amounts of attention to the union thing because I don't go there. Okay. But I'm going to I guess I need to get more, I will get more educated on this. But you guys and the people who are there might know this, but you guys might start letting people know this because I don't know that everyone knows this. Everyone I've talked to about this has said, oh, it's, they'll have a couple years to figure something out. You don't have a couple years to figure something out. You guys need to make sure that people are aware of that. We need to make sure that people are aware of that. You're done essentially after this year. That's crazy. I did not know that. Glad we went through this and learned that together. Jesus. What the hell? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Was it truly the intent of the unlawful SEA1 to put the children who attend Union School Corporation at risk, or completely deny these children the right to an education by not even allowing teachers to be hired by the school corporation to teach the children of the Union School Corporation? If not the intent, it certainly is the effect. Such actions are plainly unlawful and violation of Indiana's Constitution. As a result, the General Assembly's short-sightedness, employees will need to be replaced between now and the state mandated closure. And the school corporation will not be permitted to replace them because it cannot incur any new obligations after July 1st, 2025. Perhaps if the House or Senate permitted public comment or input on July 1st, 2025's moratorium on incurring new obligations, someone would have realized this requirement was unworkable and created a dangerous environment for the students of union schools. Rather, it seems no one advocating for SEA1 made any effort to determine either the workability or the constitutionality of this law. Moreover, it is unclear why union schools were specifically targeted for this special legislation mandating its dissolution on July 1st, 2027. Because the passage and enactment of SEA1 violates the Indiana Constitution and cannot be given effect without endangering students and school staff alike and ignoring other applicable laws, plaintiffs had no choice but to take action to stop this dangerous short-sighted law from taking effect. Okay, I have this lawsuit, and I have all of the other documents that have all the other filings. I am going to go all the way through this, read through this, and we're going to do a whole show on it. Maybe Christina can come on. I don't know if she'll be able to since she's a party to the lawsuit. I'll have to reach out and ask her attorney. I definitely don't want to do anything that puts her in a way, but we're definitely going to go through this all together because I think it deserves that, and I think we need to talk about all of this. But I want to answer something that Brandon posited last night on the show. Brandon asked a question wanting to know if this lawsuit defeats this, could this possibly cause Senate Bill SEA1 to totally be reversed and not be a thing? And the answer is, to all those people out there mad that Senate Bill 1 went through, the answer is yes. If they win this lawsuit, and I feel like they have a good shot, I feel like they've got a good case, there is a possibility that it doesn't just do away with this, but it totally overturns SEA1. Yeah, that would be absolutely wild to go from this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. So, I am. This is something I just got this today, not too long before going live, and I did not have a chance to look at it. I'm going to dissect this completely, go through it, and we will do a whole show on it because this is something that everyone needs to be aware of. But it's something that I think that the Republicans need to know, and Braun needs to know, that because of JD Prescott and Scott Alexander and their weird perverted deal with Union School Corp, they might just absolutely have single-handedly screwed up Senate Bill 1 for Braun and the Republicans. And when I say the Republicans, I mean the idiot Republicans that are currently in charge, the HRCC and those at the in the Senate and all of that. They're laughable. They're a joke. It would be amazing. So we will do a big show on this. This is a big thing, and we all need to be aware of what is happening here. and we really need to make sure people are aware of this thing that goes on for next year. I didn't know that. That's nuts. They are the gift that keeps on giving, you know. You just continue daily to find out other ways that they are screwing the citizenry of Indiana, the Hoosiers. It's really crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this 450th episode. Whoop. Did the wrong thing there. That's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. This is filed as needing an emergency hearing on the injunction. Let me look. I'm sure it would be. I don't know if it says in here. Oh, yeah. Alva, that would be wild. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I would believe it would have to be. I mean, you know, this is going to have to get done in quick fashion, and I will continue to follow this, and any of the court dates I will try to get to as well. So I think that'll be big. I'll start following what's going on with the superintendent anytime he releases information. And I will get more invested in this deal, because this is definitely a major lawsuit that could very well be big for the entire state. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate it. Be sure to smash that like button before you leave, before you go off to bed. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday. The Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting is tomorrow. I'm going to try to get up and go to that. So we'll keep you posted. We'll talk about that tomorrow evening. Catherine, I think, will be joining us. I'll let you know. Tune in tomorrow, 9 p.m. Either way, we'll have a great show. You guys take care. God bless. Have a great evening. Have a wonderful day tomorrow. And we will see you next time.